Yeah, no, everything's cool. Yeah. No, I'm over at Winston-Salem State. I just, what? Are you kidding me? I'm talking to the chief. Hey everybody, welcome to Camel City Chat. I'm John McPherson, and before we get to our guest, I just want to say it's been about a year since we filmed an episode. I think the last episode dropped in September after my dad passed away, and I'd filmed it 2 years before. And I ran for NC Realtors president-elect and got elected. So it's been kind of a crazy year. Wife's good, daughter's good, but real estate's going great, doing some home building, and now back to doing what I love, Camel City Chat. But there is nobody better to have as our first guest back than, and I can say friend, all right, who is also, for some reason, you sit next to me at every meeting we're in. We're going to find out if there's a reason for that. They always put the guy with a gun right next to me. But my friend and the chief of police of Winston-Salem State University, SU, you know.
That's right.
Chief Amir Henry. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting us come visit you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, first, let me say, based on what you just said, I want to say, sorry to hear about your dad. But at the same time, congratulations on your election.
Thanks. Yeah, it's already been 6 months into being president-elect, and holy cow.
Yeah. Sure.
But you and I serve on the State Employees Credit Union.
Yes.
And now we're on the State Employees Credit Union Advisory Board for the Winston-Salem 5 Points office. So you got to get my ADD there to get us there.
That's right.
And have for a couple years now, and they always put you next to me.
That's right.
And then Christina Thomas, who the way that, she's already mad that you and I are doing this because now that's another one of her friends that she's lost to her husband's friends that she's lost now because you and I are hanging some.
Right.
And but no, you got a long history here. So let's start off with the first question, and then I want to get into some of the cool things that you've done besides the Highway Patrol and the Marines and all that.
Sure.
Chief Henry, where are you from, and how long have you been in Winston-Salem, North Carolina?
I am from New York City. I grew up primarily in the Bronx.
Okay. So you didn't go over to Hell's Kitchen and meet Alicia Keys or any of that stuff? Okay, all right, just checking.
No,
right.
But
I'm going
I met somebody better. That was my wife.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I grew up in the Bronx and stayed there until I was about 21 years of age.
Okay.
And then I joined the Marine Corps. I just took the dive.
So that puts you down to where, Camp Lejeune?
Camp Lejeune, yeah.
Holy cow.
I was in Camp Lejeune for a little over 4 years.
Okay.
And
have you met your wife at this time?
Yes,
okay.
yes. Me and my wife met in college, and we had our first child at 21 years old.
Okay.
And then I joined the Marine Corps, and we had our second son right out of boot camp.
Okay.
I was just so excited to see my wife.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It was a great opportunity. Joining the Marine Corps was a very eye-opening experience. I needed to grow up,
and that's where you get this smooth character that I always give you grief about from. Just smooth.
I don't know if it's smooth, but they teach you quite a bit. They teach you about discipline. So,
right.
But it was a great experience.
And so then, what got you to Winston?
So after I got back from Afghanistan, me and my wife just applied to different jobs because we didn't want to go back to New York. Right. We just didn't want to raise a family in the city. And so we were thinking about moving to Atlanta, and then she wound up getting a job as a state auditor for the state here in Winston.
Okay.
And so we came to visit, and at first I wasn't that excited because it was raining that day, and there were a lot of factories.
We always roll out the red carpet, yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Smelled like tobacco when you got out of the car.
Yeah, I was like, where are we at? But little did I know, Winston is truly a hidden treasure. It is great for family.
An investment.
Oh, man.
I mean, because, if you got in early, now, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I love that you said for families. I know a lot of people say that.
It is. I'm so happy we made the decision to raise our family here. It has been a great experience. You know, anywhere you go, you're going to find challenges, but I think it's been very welcoming, and the peace of mind. I think that's the biggest thing for me. And at first, my wife, she did not want to move to North Carolina. She's a city girl. She's like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you can't even get her to city now.
I can't get her to leave. Yeah. Now she's like, I'm ready to go back home.
Downtown Winston-Salem's the biggest downtown she wants to see.
That's it. She doesn't mind going back to New York, but.
Well, you're going to be going soon.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So, so she was with State Auditor here. Is that when you got into HP?
Yes. So shortly thereafter, I joined the Highway Patrol, and that was in 2005. I got out of Marine Corps in 2004.
Okay.
And that was a great experience as well.
I learned about putting the fingers on the trunk and all that stuff.
That's right.
So anyone that gets pulled over, they need to have the hands at 10 and 11 with the window down?
Well, I think it's safe to just keep your hands on the car and not make any sudden movements that would, make somebody nervous. But, for the most part, just as best as you can, just relax and listen to what the officer is asking for.
Usually after they print me, I have my hands there and I'll announce, like if I've got a CCWP, so I announce if I have it in the car. If I'm not the only person in the car, I'll say, hey, just want to let you know. And then you roll down all the windows so everybody sees what's going on. Right. Or you say, you put your flashers on and go further and pull over a little bit further so you're in the light. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is you treat someone with dignity and respect, they're going to treat it back to you.
Exactly. And
don't get the phone out in their face.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
I mean, I think that's just a universal language is respect, right? And I think when you're not getting it, especially if it is from law enforcement, the time to have this discussion or let's just say battle of words or whatever the case may be, it's not on the side of the road, right? Just absorb the information, who it is you're talking to, and when you have an opportunity to get to a safe space and report that information and file a official complaint, go that route. Yeah. I think that's the safest thing to do.
So you're with the Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
You retire?
No, it's so funny. I was with the Highway Patrol. I was very fortunate to join a specialized unit called criminal interdiction, and that's what I did for many years. Okay. We just went after criminal behavior, cartels, things of that nature.
So is that the gang unit?
Wouldn't say it's a gang unit. They specialize more in criminal activity as a whole that's happening.
I have to ask you offline on that because I have a couple friends that used to meet and there was a Highway Patrol, Marshal, and all that kind of stuff as a group. Okay.
Task force stuff.
So
like
then,
that.
When did you get this job?
So I my wife happened to be working here at Winston-Salem State at the time, and she asked me to come with her to the CIAA in Charlotte at that time. And I went with her and I met Chief Norris. And
Patricia Norris.
Yep.
She's the bomb.
Pat Norris, yeah. And we had a conversation, and she asked me to come talk with her one day, and I said, "There's no way I'm going to leave the Highway Patrol to go and work on the campus."
But it's still a state employee thing, so you're still good on your retirement. By the way,
still everything is running smooth, still with the state. But I just never thought about working on the college campus, and I came to talk to her, and I would tell you, after she finished talking to me. I decided to make the move, and it really had nothing to do with money. Mm-hmm. It was about the opportunity to be able to do something new, to be able to do something with students.
You're home with your family every night?
Home with the family, right. Exactly.
You're not pulling over cars on a dirt road in a town you don't know everybody in? I got you.
Exactly. So I decided to take the jump.
And that was when?
That was in 2012, December of 2012. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the whole time that I was here in school getting my master's, you were the chief?
No, not the chief at that time. I was a patrol captain at that time.
All right, when did you become chief?
2020.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I was gone by then. I thought she was here when I was here.
Yeah.
All right, so We talked about this, man.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to eat?
And where?
In Winston.
Oh, in Winston?
No, I mean, I know all the fine catering that they do at Winston State University, the meals are wonderful, but do you got a favorite place to eat? I mean, Forsyth Seafood's right across the bridge. I know that's big. And
that's
what else?
It depends, right? If I am just going to grab some lunch, I do like Camel City barbecue.
Barbecue's a good place,
yeah, I like Camel City. My wife, now if I'm with her,
I was gonna say date night.
Oh man, it just depends. She's it depends on the night and the mood. So
it's crazy. A lot of times, like when the mayor's on or something like that, I'll ask them. They'll be like, I can't answer that question. Where's the last place you guys went to dinner, date night?
The last place we went was, oh man, it is. They've moved their location, but it's downtown, Sibo or something like that. I think it's called Sibo.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nunzio that used to have the place out in Louisville works there. Yeah, good place.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, my wife had dinner there a few nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you got 2 kids?
I have 2 sons. Yes.
2 sons. The one I know is the one that was TikTok famous, and he's like, I don't want to do this, Dad. I know it's 5 million followers, but that's the funniest story in the world. You talk about how you start getting free stuff on your front porch.
Yeah. And, he came to me one day and he said, well, Dad, I'm going to start doing some TikToks. And I said, that's fine. Have fun, right? I'm doing work or
Little
whatever.
did he know that he was the subject of the TikToks.
Yeah. So
he's
ranting.
Mm-hmm.
And a few weeks go by and he's like, Dad, I'm starting to get a lot of attention. And I was like, oh, great. Have fun, right? And it kept happening. And he said, well, Dad, I'm becoming TikTok famous. And I said, oh, well, whatever that is.
What's the talkie tick?
Have fun. Enjoy yourself. And one day my wife says, are you listening to him? He really is becoming famous. And I was like, oh, okay, great, right? Still moving on.
Yeah. It's about you.
And then one day, stuff like merchandise is coming to the house. And I'm like, hold on, what's going on here? And little did I know, people were starting to pay him to advertise their merch.
Wear the gold chain, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And I said, well, what's going on here?
Because that's the one you told me, some kind of jewelry they were asking him to wear something.
Asking him to wear jewelry or to give them a shout out.
Right.
And that's when I really take a look, and my wife is explaining what is happening. I look, and he's already got 5 million followers. And
I wouldn't mind 1,000 followers, and he gets 5 million.
Yeah. And so one day I say to him, I said, well, what are you talking about?
Right.
And he said, he looks around and he says, well, Dad, he said, a lot of the stuff that me and you would talk about, I just talk about on. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, well, what exactly are you saying? But what I realized was that a lot of the stuff he was talking about was funny, for one,
right.
So it was relatable to a lot of people, but it was just stuff that you really don't think about a lot, right? Like he one day he talked about when your dad gets upset when you turn on the back light when he's driving at night, right? He talked about stuff like that.
I can't see.
Right.
Why are you doing that?
Right. But he's
ask permission.
Right. He's talking about me and how I'm acting, and it's just.
Do you realize what you're doing? Oh
right.
My gosh.
And making fun of my wife and
right.
putting on her hats and stuff like that. And so, it was really a lot of funny content. But I noticed that every time he went live, people were paying him.
That's crazy. And he just decided to quit.
And one day he just decides, I really want to be in acting, and that's really what I want to pursue.
Off-Broadway show next month.
He does have an off-Broadway show next month, and he just goes cold turkey. He says, I'm done, So.
Well, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to get into serious stuff, okay?
Sure.
So before this, the joke was that I got a ticket and I'm coming here to complain about it, okay?
Yeah.
So when we come back, you're going to tell me, John, you're at the wrong place.
Yes.
We're going to be right back with more Camel City Chat. Our guest is Chief Amir Henry. See you in a minute. Welcome back to Camel City Chat. I'm John McPherson. I'm here with the Chief, Amir Henry, and appreciate everybody coming back and watching, and here's what's going on. So beforehand, we did a little joke thing. We also did it when we did Shell, I got the ticket. I was coming in to see the chief. I can't believe this. And
Only you, John.
you and I talked. No, I'm not only me. You know better. And you and I talked about this. So your team doesn't write tickets for parking?
Typically, no.
I mean,
We
like
do
if I
not-
park in front of a fire hydrant and I've got, every door open maybe, but.
It's not that we can't, but
Right.
typically we leave that for parking.
So there's a parking division that is not associated with you even.
No.
And this is the coolest reason in the world. So you tell me it's a financial reason.
Well, I mean, some agencies have parking under their umbrella,
But you don't.
but we don't, right?
And what's the financial thing of it?
So one of the reasons is because it generates revenue, right? And police departments typically don't generate revenue. Now, can't say that some don't, right? But I'm talking about from the parking perspective. But me personally, it just depends on what leadership wants.
Right.
But there are some concerns for me when we're dealing with money because we're accredited, and there's a whole lot of things that happen behind the scenes to make sure that there's compliance. So I'd rather that be with a department that deals with revenue generating, right?
And the thing that impressed me the most you said was I'm not policing for profit.
No.
So then you can't. All right, we're going to get the answer here.
Sure.
So the highway patrol doesn't send everybody out at the end of the month to meet a budget or something and write tickets?
Absolutely not. Yep.
Don't you guys pull me over? I mean, don't get me in trouble here.
Yeah.
So we don't police for profit. All right. So, when you said what you said earlier about coming here and all that stuff, I had a buddy of mine that had like 150 full-time employees, and had the police and all this stuff, and I kept trying to get him to come to the town. I lived in Louisville, and I'm like, you need to come to Louisville. He goes, John, why would I do that? I said, look at the pay and look at what your job's going to be. I mean, it's the greatest movie he ever made, but it took 2 times a turnover, like someone got it, he decided not to come, then he did finally come the next time.
Yeah.
This is like Shangri-La, isn't it, for you? I mean, this is like the most wonderful place. I mean, it has its challenges compared to what you were doing.
Oh yeah.
It's a bigger car too, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is just a different way of doing police work.
Right.
And I don't really call it policing because we're not policing the community. We're working with the community. We're engaging the community.
And there it is. Your number one goal, and that's the other thing that we talked about. Your number one goal now at Winston-Salem State in policing is what?
Engagement and just making sure they're safe. They have a place to have fun, educate, do business, and that we're engaging, right?
So when we see Shaq get out of the car and play basketball with the kids that someone called on, that is truly what you're trying to do here.
That is what we're trying to do.
And that's
right?
one of the reasons you got that ticketing too, because that's not you.
Right, and so it's not that, what I will say is we are a police department.
Right.
We follow the same rules and regulations as other big agencies. We go through training and standards to get our certification.
Right.
We can make arrests. We can write tickets. But again, that's not the focus, right? We do want the community to be safe, right? But the big thing is, how are we engaging the community day in and day out, right? Do people feel comfortable talking to us? And that's not always the case. It depends on
stitches get stitches.
Right, background, how you were raised, things you've personally been through. And I myself can say I've been in some situations where it was challenging, right? And so I try to keep that in mind when we are trying to help our community, right?
So, okay, then I guess my question to you is going to be this. We're at an HBCU. A majority of the students in the class, now it's changing, but in the freshman class come in and they're the first person in their family for economic challenges or their parents weren't raised the same way or whatever. They're the first people to come to school. And you may be the first police officer that they run into.
That is correct.
And so with the tide of the nation, I mean, that's got to be incredible what you guys are doing.
Oh, it's tough, right? Because the way it is now, especially if you look at the reach of social media, an officer could do something in Tennessee,
Right.
And you can still be, you know, viewed as being an officer that does things the improper way here in Winston-Salem. And so that's really tough. And so that's why that engagement, and I don't call it community policing. I know that's what a term
that's the buzzword, like networking.
But to me, it's community engagement, right? We're not policing anyone. It's the engagement. And it's a revolving door. You don't get to do it one time and then say, well, I did it this year. Okay, I met my quota, right? No, that's not how it works. Engagement, what we're doing right now, that's engagement, right? So just having conversation, that's community engagement. When it's organic, that's the most important engagement. Now you can set up coffee with a cop or, you know, different events, and I'm not saying those things are bad. They have their purpose.
Right.
But that day-to-day interaction is so important when it's organic, right? If you just pick up a basketball and go shoot a hoop with some students, or you see them in passing and just sit and talk with them, and you know what's your your major, when you graduate,
or walk up on the yard.
That is the most important type of engagement.
So what is your goal with your department? Because you can tell them what you
Sure.
You can tell them what you want to, but I know you got goals. So if I work for you, what's my goal a week? And I mean, you're wanting them to get, and it's not that it's a goal, it's a mindful goal. Like for me as a realtor, let's say I break bread with 10 people a week.
Right.
It's not that I don't want to go out to dinner with, go have lunch with somebody. It's a mindful goal. So what is me working for you now? What are my engagement stops? Do you want me to do one a day, or are you trying to do more than that?
No, I don't put a number on it, because again, it's not organic, right? When it's organic, you are just being yourself.
Right.
And that's why it's
so I'd get no policing done because I'd be walking around talking to kids.
Well, see, that means a lot, though.
Okay.
Because that means that when these students or the faculty or staff feel comfortable with you and something is happening,
right?
And I don't know what that something is, just remember this: people are going to call you in their worst moment. So think about how important that is, that you're the one that's going to get that call. And so do they feel comfortable calling you? I've had times where a student or a faculty or a staff member has called me, and they could have called dispatch, but they called me and said, this is something that I'm seeing, this is a situation, can you get an officer here? And they're only doing it because they feel comfortable talking to me.
Right.
So when you say, I would be out here talking all day, that's great, right? Because I don't want to hire someone, right, who just wants to be on SWAT or just wants to be a canine officer.
I don't want to be either one of them, by the way.
Right. Well, look, look, we'll talk after this.
Okay, we'll talk. So, and Stabler, he's going to Carolina. We can maybe talk him into.
That's right.
So, and now I talked to Robert Muhammad about this, and Robert's a friend of mine like you, that we can have the conversations. And I was raised to be colorblind. That's the wrong way to raise a kid. LeBron James said something about it years back, and and talking about what you say to your sons. I drive home differently than you do. Obviously in law enforcement it's a little different, but I didn't know that the way that I'm supposed to, obviously, we all prejudge, but I try not to have prejudice in my life. But the other thing is I'm supposed to appreciate who you are and where you came from. And when we're colorblind, we're not. And I think that's one of the biggest things that with what you do is you have a lot of students here on campus. I would say the majority of the students that live on campus are students of color, and with everything that goes on, you've got you got a big hill to climb, because that's every kid, even that I know of, has been taught to be scared of the cops. But so what do you do for, like, if I'm your new hire? How do you teach me to interact with the students that are almost 40 years younger than me? And how do you do that?
So that's a great question, and the answer to that is we just don't hire people and then stick them out in the field and say, have at it. Right. No, that is definitely not what's happening, right? So when they get hired, First of all, it's a very rigorous background.
Right.
Then they have to go through a psych eval.
Okay.
And
Well,
once
I'm
they
out.
get through with that process, they're in field training for several weeks just to get acclimated to how we do things here on campus, right? And one of the things that is important to know is that the difference between us and working in a municipality is there's really not an admin process, so to speak, in a municipality. It's you're either going to get a warning or you're going to get a ticket or you might go to jail, right? On a campus, those things can happen, but we're not trying to use that as the first tool. We're trying to educate, right? So we have tools on campus like community standards and civility, where we will send students to that department to say, these are the policies that were broken, right? May have been a law, depending on what it is, right? Maybe a traffic violation, something like that. We need to sit down and have conversation with this student to correct the behavior. Because we also don't want to send a student away from college with a degree in a criminal history.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing too. You know, it's. I remember we were walking on campus in Appalachian way back in the day, and some people were walking. They had alcohol with them, and the police came up, and the person put the alcohol in a corner and kept walking a little bit further. It wasn't me, and you know, they stopped us and said, "Hey, you guys, you know, you shouldn't be drinking outside." And oh, okay, sorry, we weren't doing, you know. And he goes, "Look, I'm gonna drive away.
Right. When
I come back, that can better be in the damn trash can, and I better not see you guys doing that again." And now, what did that do? Oh, we messed up. We shouldn't have been doing that. But it could have gone to student. You know, I was a student court justice and all that, so it couldn't have gone to student court and all that. But that's the policing and the engagement and stuff, and realizing it's Friday night. Come on.
Right.
So.
But I will say this: when it comes to serious crimes, that's the difference, right? If you are bringing guns on campus or you've sexually assaulted somebody, that is a different ball game. And
are those your big ones? Guns on campus, you know, hurting another student, or the assaults?
Right. That is that for me, that is my threshold. Everybody knows that if you cross those lines, then in my opinion, you don't need to be
and if you're bringing a gun on campus to protect yourself, you need to talk to me first so that I can get you out of the situation, so you don't need to do that. Because that little 2.5 to 5 pounds changes the world.
Oh, it absolutely will.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so you also have those of us that don't live on campus, if we come back. So you're all the games and the sporting events, you have security there.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think you probably have to contract out with my buddy that we were talking about earlier, who's been putting me off for like 5 months to do the show. Right. But Chief Hunley, I guess, sends somebody over here for you.
Right.
Right. And then, what are your big things that you work on? But before you answer that, we're gonna be right back with more Camel City Chat.
Sure.
Welcome back, everybody. Chief Henry and I are just kind of having a little bit of a chat, and before we went to break, one of the things we were talking about is, you know, what are your challenges? I want to talk about that, and then we're going to spend some time talking about Winston-Salem and Winston-Salem State. Let's do a little advertising for the school because it's one of the greatest schools in a hidden gem. We got a new chancellor coming. She's awesome. If you didn't know that, she's going to be awesome. And then, we got some questions. So I'm not saying that it doesn't have serious challenges, because it does. We've seen the news, but what are your challenges on Winston-Salem State's campus as the chief of police? Everything else that every other department has, but what's your biggest things right now?
I think the biggest thing that people need to realize is there has to be more communication across the board, right? Because communication is always one of those areas where you want to look at it this way. You want to share more information than not, right? So people really understand why you're doing some of the things that you're doing. One of the biggest challenges that I see is just recruitment and retention of officers. Right now, nationally, I don't really know too many places where they're fully staffed or they're even close. Now, I'm not saying there aren't those agencies.
But it's the bit, because like Winston-Salem and Greensboro trade back and forth of who's got the better program.
That's exactly.
It's like, I swear, I'm not saying collusion, but it seems like, hey, January, you go to Greensboro, you're going to get this. Winston-Salem's February. So are your wages different from those two municipalities?
So it's really, yes, wages are definitely.
But you're a state office where their city office is, so they're
Right.
in local government employees, and you're a state employee, so you can be in state employees credit union.
Right, that's true. Right, and yes, there are differences in salary. However, the big thing is the opportunities, right? Because unfortunately, when you're working at a smaller agency, or if you're working on a campus, they may not have all of the same opportunities for K9 or SWAT or
So you have
helicopter.
K9?
No, we don't.
You don't have SWAT?
No.
Okay, good.
We don't.
Good.
So these are some of the things I'm talking about, right?
But do you want it?
No, not necessarily,
let's-
right? We don't. But when you're talking about some of the officers that are coming in, sometimes at some point they want to do those things.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If you were a diehard fan, Bobby Kimro's got the Trefo car. I mean, that car is beautiful. That thing is the bomb. So he's got the Trefo car. You don't need it.
Right.
So you can call him up. Bobby, you got to sell.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, Bobby, send the car.
Right.
And he's a great guy, and he's been on the show.
Yeah.
But so staffing, and what I was going to tell you about that is, love this podcast. Who actually is going to be a guest on Conversing Carolinas?
Yeah.
They do this podcast. It is called Do Politics Better, and they interviewed the Secretary of maybe Labor. I don't know which one it is. I'm sorry, but if you go to Appalachian, let's say, and that's where I got my undergraduate from. If you go to Appalachian and you get a degree in environmental studies, you come down, you work for Davie County, they pay you. You work there 1 year. Private wants you. They double, triple your pay, all right, and then you're gone. And so he was talking about the elevators, because that's underneath him. You see, the pictures haven't changed over.
Yep.
It's because they don't have the people to do it. And he's talking like, I don't know, or I'm not going to ask you your numbers, but he's talking. He's like, I've got 100 FTEs. I've got 30 of them full.
Yeah.
And you just can't keep people. So what we got to do is we got to get money to you, so that you can go out and get people and retain them. But then, what are my benefits? Well, on a college campus, there are a lot. Can we get reduced meals? Can we get
well, one of the big things that we
members
offer,
of the gym,
right, is
free tickets.
Right. Yeah, they get to work out, but at the same time, we offer free education. Right. So all the way through your PhD, you can take as many classes as you want in a semester, as long as you can still get the work done. Right. And the benefits are great. Right.
So I can better myself to later go on.
Right.
As I said, I got my MBA here in 2014, and then they called me. Dr. Gopalan and them called me and said, hey, would you want to adjunct? And so I taught for a year, adjunct, and I love that. And then now, of course, my new friend called me up and asked me about being on the MBA advisory board, came over here, and more engaged than I've been. I watched the press conference yesterday, so we're filming this on Thursday, the 30th of May. I'm really excited about the new chancellor.
Yeah.
She's got some Martin tutelage, which I think he's been one of our best chancellors ever. So you already were high in my book, but then you got Pat Norris. I mean, come on now, in your corner.
That's right.
So they're great people here.
Yeah.
And Winston-Salem State is just a hidden gem.
And I really didn't know what an HBCU was. Right?
I didn't. I let a girl get in front of me my first time over here buying a shirt. I'm like, hey, look, you can have that, but you got to tell me. You get back with your friend in line.
Right.
What's an HBCU? And she goes, my historical Black College and University. I said, I'm gonna wait a month or two before I wear that T-shirt. Let me get in here and make sure I'm gonna be able to. They're gonna let me stay.
Yeah, I mean, but the big saying here is that it's a family, and that they take care of each other, and that is what I see here, right? You see students come in, they really don't know what's going on, especially if they're freshmen, things of that nature. But the community embraces them. The alumni embraces them. Provides opportunity, and then this faculty and the staff, they do present opportunities for students to make those mistakes, where we can, try to do our best to correct some of the behaviors and give that support so that they can go on and enter to learn, depart to serve, right?
You got me. I was going to end with that too.
Yeah.
Enter to learn, depart to serve. I was really pleased to see, was it the vice president of marketing or something like that? She was talking about. And I don't think it was the chancellor that was talking about this. So maybe the head of the search committee.
Ms. Gingles, Haley Gingles.
Was she there that started the conference yesterday?
Yes.
Number one, top 10. I mean,
Yes.
I don't think people know all that stuff. So we got to get that message out.
Right.
I asked some people in the foundation yesterday, say, hey, look, the day she walks in the door, I challenge anybody out there to do 1892. We starting new. This is going to be wonderful. 1892, just donate it. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but a PWI has a different number than an HBCU. PWI is primarily a white institution, HBCU. HBCU and foundation fundraising can expect 10% of their alumni to give back. And we're not there yet. That's a number that if we achieve that, there are people in foundation over there, they all get raises. I mean, yeah. And $18.92, let's just get everybody just give $18.92 to support the new chancellor?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that'd be great. Throw it on the card.
Absolutely.
It's 20 something if you cover the processing fee.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to run over there and say,
especially
hey, after we're done.
when you see the ripple effect of what that money does for our students, and you hear their story about how they were able to advance and what effect it had on their life and their families' lives when they were presented these and given these opportunities. I mean, it is very impactful.
And see, Stabler, he's going to Carolina next year, and one of the things I told him is I said, you need to join the Ram Club. Because it's like $40, I need to check with my dad. And I'm like, you need to be involved. And had him talk with a client of mine today, and I mean, I met 4 or 5 kids when we came. The North Carolina Real Estate Commission had an event here. Okay. One of the things that I want to look at doing is seeing if we can get some people that are interested in it, maybe coming to different events when we have to see people. Because it's all about meeting people and getting that foot in the door.
Absolutely. All
right, so
real estate game.
My friend.
Yes.
Tell me about Winston-Salem. You've been here since when?
Since, actually 2005.
All right. We have a downtown.
Yes, we do.
So what do you like about this area? What's some of your favorite things to do?
Oh, man. Well, I'm a little,
Are you a homebody?
Quiet. I'm a homebody, but I like to go fishing. Of all things,
all right.
I like to go fishing.
My neighborhood has a pond in it.
Really?
Okay.
I'm
and I got a 9-year-old daughter. I taught my daughter how to fish. I baited her hook. I threw it out.
All right.
Oh, what'd I do? Set the hook, hand to her, she reels it in. We did that 4 or 5 times. Finally, I'm like, it was all out there long enough. I go to bait the hook. I throw mine out. She catches another one. She looks at me and she goes, Dad, you need me to teach you how to fish?
Right. There you go. That's right. That's how it's supposed
love
to
to
work.
fish.
Yeah.
Do you fly fish?
No, I don't,
all right,
but I don't
talk.
mind.
All right,
we
we'll
can
talk.
I can try it.
All right, so you like to fish. What else?
And I like to eat.
Well, I'm down, buddy. I'm down. I am down. What am I?
All right.
I'm down at least 32 pounds this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're on it.
I had to buy a suit to get sworn in as president-elect.
See that?
Guess what's coming today?
What's coming?
2 inches smaller in the waist, 2 inches smaller in the jacket, same suit.
Look at that.
I'm going back.
See?
Yeah. I don't know if
I want
I
to
can
be
fit
like
that.
you.
Have you got a vest on underneath that today?
No.
That's too hot.
No, not.
But what? Okay. Why do the pins have to be just like that? Those two? Because that's where the pocket is.
Yes, that's where the pocket is.
And do you have one of those? I mean, like I got my pad over. You got one of them long pads, right? What do you have?
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about Winston-Salem, because I just got squirreled. What do you love about our town, and what makes this your home?
Oh, man. I like the peace of mind. I like the community. Well, I think we've got a lot of great people, a lot of great minds, and I really like the growth. Again, when I moved here in 2000 and end of 2004, but 2005, it was nice, but it has really grown since then.
It's so weird to go downtown. I mean, you can go downtown and go to Oak Calcutta for dinner.
It's really
and then walk down towards Chill Nitro and stop in and get something at wrong number or Rec Billiards or the Spanish woman I don't remember, the Spanish one that I can't remember the name. Get a drink there.
Yeah.
Or my wife and I got to town early the other night for dinner, and we ended up over at Trophy Room.
Yeah.
And then
You
get
can go
some ice
for a
cream at Chill
walk.
Nitro.
Yeah, you can go for a walk, go different places. There's a lot more to do than people think in Winston. And it's just getting better and better. It's growing. So
I feel we're really lucky to have you and your family here in town.
Look,
I want you to know that. I'm serious. I mean, I know you do a great job here, and I'm so proud that you've allowed me to be your friend. You're just such a great guy, and thanks for doing this today.
No, I appreciate you, and I appreciate the city
And we got swearing in later.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, you know, you'd shown me something earlier. I'm assuming that's a badge. You're going to swear me in? Is that the swearing in?
Oh,
later?
no.
No. You don't have to do that now, but I'm just saying. But is that a badge? Because that's what I'm thinking.
It's a coin.
No, it's a badge, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're going to get me swearing in. But what do we need to help Chief Henry out at Winston-Salem State? What do we need to do?
You know, I think the biggest thing is care about the university as a whole, right? That means all aspects of the university that help the community be successful. So even in law enforcement, what can you do to help recruit and retain, right? Because the big thing for students is everybody helps recruit and retain students. Everybody, from grounds to professors, everybody is involved in the retention of students, right? Every interaction is important. So we need to have that same approach with faculty, staff, and student. If you want to keep good talent, look at how you treat each other. Look at how you talk to each other, how you engage, recruit. If you see somebody out there that really, shows you a side that you think they could be a good fit here at the university, talk to them about it, right? And I think if you did that across the board, we would be in a lot better place if we just approach it that way, right? Because we're not on an island. Right, we're just not police over here. We're part of this community. You know, we live here.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I want to challenge everybody just to come to something over here. I mean, come to a ball game.
Absolutely.
Come to eat lunch, whatever.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of activities we need to try and figure out to get the calendar out. I mean, you know, if you're coming to Bowman Gray International Motor Speedway, the Madhouse, to watch football, that's a different whole story.
That's right.
But it is, you know, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
And it's and Stable and I are going to walk around after this. We're going to go see the doc and that. But we're lucky to have you, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
All right, so we're going to be back next week. That's right, next week we're going to do more Camel City Chat. I want to thank my guest, Chief Amir Henry, for taking the time out of today. I'm excited. You're going to get pictures of me getting sworn in. It was on video. We'll be back. All the best.